All right. So, the wife came out in the shop to look at this thing, so I had to cut out. But anyway, the God, I think I've shown you this stuff already because I remember putting the cell phone on the holder. Well, anyway, cell phone goes on here, and then this is the charging cord to charge it. All right, and then what I did is I put high beams and low beams on this unit because I plan on riding it on the trails. And if I do that and I have a snowmobile coming at me, this headlight on here is pretty wicked bright. So I don't want to blind them. So I had some little LED interior trim lights, for like the inside of your truck. And what I did was they got 3M adhesive, really good 3M adhesive on them. So I stuck them on the headlight there. That's what these little yellow strips are. And then I rewired everything properly. So there's the modules and everything for the headlights. They're all secured. Everything's all labeled now. This is the master kill. Switched from a yellow lens to a red lens so that when I cut the teeth that are in this panel for the fresh air intake, the red light will shine out through there and it'll look like red snarling teeth. Brand new loom up this side of the arm this time to the control box, which looks kind of cumbersome. It's just a wooden box, but I couldn't find any other box that would fit this switch panel. So anyway, when the master switch is on, I'll only drop the hood. When the master switch is on down there, then I get all these LED lights on the switches, and they're on all the time. So since they're on all the time, it's going to drain the battery. So that's why I put that master disconnect in, because then those lights go off. So now when here's a high beam. That's pretty bright. And then this is the low beam. Still pretty bright. Bright enough to see the trail anyway, when I'm driving. But not bright enough, I don't think, to blind an oncoming snowmobiler. So now I can sleep at night knowing that everything's wired properly. I'm not going to have the magic purple smoke. I'm going to put you in the holder here. Hey, cool. I can videotape while I'm driving. So the cell phone holder like this on the dashboard or on the handlebars allows me to use GPS mapping on my phone when I'm out on the lake to see where I'm going. So, like this private lake that I just got access to fish, there's no lake maps of it. It's never been mapped because it's a private lake. So what I'm going to do is when I find good spots, I'm just going to mark them on my Google Maps. And it will show me, I'll put an icon on there. And then when I go out on the lake, I won't be able to see depth contours or anything like you would with fishing software, but I can go to the red mark, and then that'll be my spot. So, and it gets you pretty accurate. I know when I use it for finding addresses for work, it'll tell me you have arrived just as I'm pulling into the driveway. So I don't worry about it being, inaccurate like old GPS used to be, but So I think that'll serve. Once I mark spots on lakes, I can read right off the phone here, and I'll know where I'm at and if I have arrived. So yeah, that's the electrical is done for now. I didn't wire up the brake switch yet because I don't have the brake lights installed yet. I also have a wire ran for the kill switch for the engine. I want to be able to kill it from here at the handlebars. I'm on the fence whether I should just put in a tether, and when I want to kill the engine, just snap the tether. I think that's probably what I'll do, because if this thing throws me, which has happened before to people, you get it on a rough trail or something. One of our fishing buddies, Rick, he got thrown from his machine a couple of times right out of the toboggan, and I want the engine to stop when it does that. So I think I'll put in a tether, and that'll be my engine kill, even though I got a switch up here wired for it. But I can always use that for something extra, you know, down the road, a winch or something like that, if I decide to put a winch on this, which I'm thinking about doing. So yeah, electrical's pretty much done. Engine starts, or I shouldn't say, it turns over with the key. And I think I'm going to keep it that way. I was going to make a start button up here, but I think I'm going to keep it that way. I mean, so what if I got to flip the hood open and start the engine? You know, no big deal. Sometimes I got to give it a shot of starting fluid anyway to get it to start if it sits for any length of time. So I'll just leave that the way it is. But I do need to figure out on the little control box that comes on the engine. It has a start key on the engine. I'll got to find out how that's wired, and I pretty much got to do that when it's running. And then I can disconnect that wire from the key switch and run it up to, or tap into it, and run it up here to the dash, so I can just flip one of the toggles and the engine will quit. So yeah, that phase of the project is done right now for now. Next is going to be one of two things. I still have to put those sheet metal side tins down low where the skid plate sides are, so it doesn't scoop snow in there. I still have to do that. And I believe I can mount the engine into the machine, get everything lined up for the chain. I didn't get a response back from the guy I bought the clutch from to find out if it's omnidirectional, meaning it can be mounted reverse or forward and still work. I'm gonna assume that it is, and I could find out once the engine's in the machine and running. I just throttle it up and see if the outer drum engages. I'm really hoping it is, because the way I have it mounted now is the only way it's going to work, even have a shot at working. And I'm still probably going to have to offset the engine a little bit from the center of the machine, which I didn't want to do, because then she'll want to tip to the right all the time. So yeah, that's the next phase. I'm going to have to custom order brake and throttle cables, because I cannot find anything on the internet that'll work. And I don't want it all hodgepodge. I want nice, neat, tight cables. So there's a company called Proform or something like that that will make you a custom cable with the ends on it that you need and the length that you need. Sure, I'm going to spend a little bit for that, but I'd rather have that. So the machine looks neat and it doesn't look hacked together. I plan on, this is not just something that I built to play around with a couple of years and oh, okay, that's fun. No, this is in lieu of a snowmobile in the wintertime for me. This is going to be my machine for winter travel, whether it's out exploring the woods, going for trail rides, or ice fishing. This is going to be it. So that's why I'm making sure that this thing is built to the nines to the best of my ability, and that it has all the functions and practicality that I want. I was thinking about it today when I was driving around. I could literally put all the equipment I need to go ice fishing on the machine and not have to haul anything in the toboggan. There's enough space to put one pail, which I use a 7-gallon pail. There's enough space to put the fish finder, because I have a little Markham Showdown fish finder. There's enough space to put a small minnow bucket with crappie minnows in it, or you know, half a dozen shiners for tip-ups. There's enough space to put my backpack with all the rest of my gear. Food, smokes, drinks, etc. That goes up in that upper rack. I could and the auger goes in the auger holder. So I literally could get everything I need on the machine and let the machine carry it, and just have the toboggan to just ride in. Or I could even fabricate a skid pad that I stand on behind here that's connected to the hitch, and I wouldn't even need a toboggan. So those are all ideas that I'm mulling over, whether I want to just make a skid pad for it to stand on, or actually utilize the toboggan. The nice thing about the toboggan is if I go on a longer run, my back can't handle that, and I want to be able to sit down. So I'm probably going to go the toboggan route. But so yeah, that's where we're at now. I'll decide here in a minute which task I want to tackle. I'm probably going to put the skins on the front though first before I mount the engine in there. So catch you on the flip side.